Hi, it's Dr. Lori. I'm back with more Real Bargains. That's right, bargains, bargains galore. This episode of Real Bargains has a signed Lalique piece at the thrift store. I know, you can't believe it. You think all those prices are too high at the thrift store? They're not. They're not. They're missing all kinds of stuff. Another item that's rather unusual or odd looking, you'd probably walk right by it, but my video caller didn't. That's good. Other things that are valuable in this episode: jewelry, prints too. Let's get started. All these real bargain stories, I have permission to retell them. And this first real bargain comes from a video caller who was at the thrift store. She said, Dr. Lori, when I saw this, I grabbed it. I knew it was something. I didn't see the actual signature. Do you guys recognize it? I like this a lot. I talk about this a lot. Lalique, that's right. Signed right in the center, this lovely Lalique shallow bowl, 10 inches in diameter, was on a shelf at the thrift store. My video caller said, I knew it, I just knew it, I just didn't see the signature, but I bought it anyway. So she didn't rely on the signature, she relied on what she had seen, her visual memory from the videos here. And she said, you know what, here's what I'm looking for. I wanted you to confirm it. I did, when I got home, found the actual signature right in the middle. R. Lalique. That's right. The great French glassmaker and designer. They also make crystal, of course. And this is one of those lovely patterned bowls that they're very famous for. It's signed in the middle. As I said, 10 inches in diameter, about 2 inches high, so it's rather tall too. This particular piece came out of, again, a thrift store. I really like these pieces. I think they're statement pieces. I don't like to put anything in things. People go, what do you mean you don't like? I don't like to put anything in the bowls, in the pieces of art. I like the art to just speak for itself. Now, sure, they're functional. They're intended for you to put something in them, but I personally like to just leave it plain and let everybody look at the beauty of it. I understand why Lalique puts the actual signature right in the center, but in fact, when you're looking at those particular signatures, you can identify time period by those different signatures because many different manufacturers will show the signature or the logo or basically the mark different ways over different times. That helps you to, of course, identify date too. This one from the late 1900s, and this particular one is a beautiful example. What did she pay? $5.99. What's it worth? $775. So, you think the thrift stores are pricing everything too high because they know that all their stuff is worth so much money. They're not. They're missing something like Lalique. This next real bargain comes from a video caller, and he was in Goodwill. He was in Goodwill at the thrift store, and he said he was looking at this, and this thing was so odd. He kept walking by it thinking, that's so unusual. I've never seen anything like it. Well, when something's unusual, you might want to take a second look. And the other thing is just to expand your world, right? Just to say, I've never seen anything like that. I do that all the time. I'm like, what is that? And you start asking questions of what is that and how do I find that and this kind of thing. I think that's a great way to expand your world. Anyway, so he's in the thrift store. He sees this piece. He's walking by it. He's not really sure. He's kind of getting curious, and that's great. So he's getting curious. He actually decides, well, you know what? It's so unusual. I'm going to buy it. There you go. So he buys the piece. We do a video call, and I tell him, these probably were not so difficult for you to find when you started to research. He said, yeah, I found out that it was West African, but that's all I really know. Said, well, I told him they're West African, made by the Ashanti people, the Akan, what are called tribal peoples of West Africa. And this particular piece is a chief seat. How do I know this? Well, I've curated works of art on African art and sculpture. I've done exhibitions. I've written on African art and sculpture in my career, and this piece was very characteristic of West African chief seats. So there's seats that are carved of native wood. This one is 12 by 16 by 22 inches. It's relatively big. And this particular piece is, in fact, very intricately carved. It's oftentimes carved with abstracted animal elements. And it's usually in a crisscross kind of form, and it's a low seat. And the chief would sit there during a initiation rite ceremony or other ceremonies that take place within the culture. It's a beautiful piece. It's in gorgeous shape. And as I said, it was at the thrift store. How much did he pay for it? He paid $9.99 at the thrift store for a wonderful piece of African art, a piece that's a cultural object. What's it worth? $2,500. That's right, it was a real bargain and a beautiful work too. This next real bargain comes from a video call. That's right, you can book a video call with me too. But basically, this one was a video call, and it was from an online auction. Well, she bought this at an online auction. My video caller said, I just liked it. I thought it was great. It was part of an online auction. I bought a jewelry lot, and it was part of the lot. So lots of things. She bought it at one auction, and she said, I do that, and then I resell the pieces. I have a lot of success because I follow the tips on this channel. And I said, well, that's great. I said, did you test the stones? She said, yes. I bought the Presidium gemstone tester. I test the stones. I have recommended products on my website, on my specials and shop page. I get compensation when you purchase a product that I recommend. And she said, I got the Presidium gemstone tester, which is one of those recommended products, because I'm selling more jewelry, and I have to make sure that I have the information about each of the stones. That's right, she does. You have to do that. You have to have your ducks in a row, you know? So, all right. So she said, I tested these, and there are 27 garnets set in this slide. What's a slide? It's a pendant, but the pendant has two elements on the back, and it slides through some of the thicker necklaces. So if you have an omega necklace, or if you have a thick link necklace and you want to have a pendant on it, it also sometimes can be worn, if they're big enough, with pearls as a pearl enhancer, but they have to be pretty big. That hoop on the back has to be pretty big. Anyway, this one is marked sterling silver 925. She said she was excited when she saw that it was marked 925 because it's a sterling silver slide with 27 set and tested garnets. If you're doing a listing, you want to say, hey, I tested the garnets on the Presidium. Show a picture of the Presidium. It'll help you that way too. Having said that, this particular piece was great. What did she pay for it? Well, within the lot, when you factor it all out, she paid $6.50 for this piece. It's a beautiful piece. The floral design is nice. I like a big pin, and I like a big pendant. I think it really dresses up an outfit. This particular piece is worth, you ready, $275. Why? The garnets, of course, have value, and the sterling has value. It's a nice slide pendant and a real bargain, too. Sign up for my newsletter at drloriv.com. It's free. This next real bargain comes from a video caller who went to an estate sale, and he's been looking for art. This estate sale shopper has been looking for art, and he said, Dr. Lori, I was at an estate sale in a person's house who had been living there for nearly 50 years. I was in the attic. They allowed us to go all over into the house. Up in the attic, there was a box, and the box was full of framed items. So I started looking through the box and unwrapping these particular pieces. So this estate sale group didn't even unwrap stuff. They just said, we're having an estate sale. Come and look at anything you want. So in the attic, my video caller found this piece. And this piece, he unwrapped it. He said it looked kind of cool. He wasn't sure what it was. So I took it. And I said, okay. He bought it, didn't take it. So I said, all right, well, it's a beautiful piece, and it's pretty well known. It's signed in the plate, PB, which stands for Pierre Bonnard. Pierre Bonnard is a late 19th, early 20th century French artist who is very well known for works of art, mainly in a tradition that is after the Impressionists. Wonderful art movement and a very well-known artist. This particular piece is oftentimes called the young girl reading. However, some have also called it the education of the Virgin. The reason for it is the way in which this figure is sort of looks like she has something of a habit on her head. And oftentimes that's what we tend to see when we're seeing representations of the Virgin Mary. However, if we called it young girl reading, we wouldn't be incorrect. It's a color lithograph print. Now, it's monotone, so it's only one color. It's only the lithography of course, the black and the white. But this is a beautiful example. It's in very good condition. The pull is sharp. That means those lines are nice and crisp in that particular piece. The piece is in good shape. The piece is, of course, early 20th century, and there are others out there. So you could find others, of course, selling on the internet. When I did, of course, the appraisal, I showed my video caller the entire market, what the pieces are really selling for. I said, how much did you pay? He said, I paid $40. He said, and I got the frame. That included the frame. So that's very good because the frame is worth $40 alone before you even talk about the work of art itself. But what's the work of art worth? Well, it's a real bargain in many ways. It's in good condition. It's by a major French artist of the early 20th century, and value on it $750, including the frame. It's a beautiful work and signed too. This next real bargain comes from a video caller who bought this necklace at a consignment shop. Look at this necklace. It is an omega necklace, and here's the kicker. It's reversible. That's right. It's white gold on one side, it's yellow gold on the other side. Really a beautiful example. Terrific piece. And it dates from the 1980s, so again, the omega look is not contemporary in terms of what everybody's wearing, but it's a beautiful piece of gold and a beautiful piece of jewelry. It's marked clearly, and this is very important. The marks are very important. I show you the marks on my website, drloriv.com. You can go and look at the, of course, marks for gold and silver, white gold and yellow gold is the example here. I like the reversible because, you know, one necklace does it all. You can wear it with your gold, your silver, you can wear it with your gold, you can wear it with your white gold. It's really a nice piece. The piece itself, of course, is about 17 inches long. These necklaces are a little bit short for some of us. I like a 20-inch. I like a little bit more room around my neck, you know, to allow for my double, triple, quadruple chin. Anyway, so that's what we're looking at with that. This one dates to the late 20th century, the 1980s, 1990s. It's a really nice example. And my video caller said, you know, I had to buy it because I still knew it was going to be a bargain at the consignment shop. She paid $315 for it. So some of you will say, wow, you know, that's a big investment for a piece like this. Well, it's a big investment, yeah, but you know what? It's a real bargain because if you were to look at what today's, at the time of this taping, what today's gold market is bringing for gold just in weight, you know, this particular piece is going to bring a lot of money because gold holds its value very well. What did she pay? She paid $315, so she paid a little bit more than she might have wanted to, but it's a real bargain. Here's why. It's worth $3,500. That's right, $3,500 for a $300 or so investment. It's a real bargain and a real beauty, and versatile too. I'm Dr. Lori. That's Real Bargains. Thanks for being with me. I hope you find your real bargain real soon.